Episode 9. Episode 9 starts with the arrest of the Gorman senator. I mean, the Empire's not even hiding it at this point. They're just going to arrest politicians. Now, this is the same guy that Mon Mothma tried to get through to him a few episodes ago. I guess it would have been a year ago. He wanted none of it, and look where that got him. Now, I feel bad for him, but a little too little, a little too late, sir. So there's a plan brewing to get Mon Mothma to Yavin, because clearly it's not safe for her on Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
And Bail Organa is cooking it up. Seems like a great plan. But the issue is that Bail's a good guy, but there's someone on his team that can't be trusted. We don't know who it is. Is it the 6-foot-tall, scary-seeming Russian-looking lady? Be a good bet. That was my only note. Like, you picked the scariest woman on the team to be the mole. Hey, why not? So, in order to counteract this, there is a different exfiltration mission for Mon, cooked up by Luthen. Love this moment. Tiny moment, but just classic Andor, of Clea making this press ID for Andor on this, like, dope-ass 3D printer. Just sick. Clea looks bad. I don't mean that in like a disrespecting women way. Like, she looks so tired, and I think she's a beautiful woman. She's always dressed great, and I think between her and Luthen, like, you're just seeing the strain on the rebels. And I don't know, this might be an overread, but perhaps the action and the juice, to quote Heats, like starting up on Yavin and is almost dying on Coruscant. And there is like a fatalism to Luthen in this episode. A curiosity that, like, is this the last of Luthen?
Yeah, and it was interesting, like, coming back to Luthen after a long period of no Luthen. Like, I think it was a little bit, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot up in the air with him and with Cassian, and I don't know, I feel like there are a good amount of storylines in general that I'm curious about, and I hope they're able to wrap everything up in the last 3 episodes in a satisfying way, but I agree with everything you're saying about him here. It was good to see him get involved with this plan.
Does any part of you want to know more about Luthen and his motivations? Are you good with some of the mystery around it?
I'm ready for the Luthen prequel series. After this. I mean, another series for nobody to watch. That can be awesome.
You know, we got that amazing speech in the first season that he gives to Lonnie about, what did I sacrifice? Everything. And it says so much about him, but when I think about him, I kind of realize, like, we don't know his history or backstory, what his motivation is. What is his personal rebellion? That's a key theme and point for each character. What's their rebellion? Sometimes it's told to us, sometimes it is lied to us, sometimes it's not revealed to us. So I keep kind of wanting to know Luthen's, but I also wonder, will that disappoint me to find out at the end of the day?
Yeah, and that's the eternal struggle with that, right? Like, is the story they come up with actually satisfying? You know, sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes no, but with Andor, the answer is yes, so who knows?
So I don't doubt that Clay and Luthen are working their ass off, but god damn it, they're calling Cassian in after Gorman to do one last mission, but the guy must be exhausted. We kind of get the elevation of a supporting character, Erskine Samaj, who is Mon's assistant, who's got an impressive pompadour haircut. I love this guy. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I have more to say, but I just fucking love this guy. Loyal little Erskine. I guess he was in the previous episodes, but I was just ratting for him hard.
Yeah, and this is the most attention he really gets. I mean, obviously. So
it was pretty impulsive of Mon to find the bug in her office and smash it. I was kind of frustrated because I knew that would trigger the Empire realizing that she destroyed her bug.
The thing with someone like Mon Mothma, I think a thing with a lot of this show is seeing people that maybe are not attuned to how to handle certain situations. And I think you see that with her 100% at the end of this, when with just seeing violence and being like, what is happening, man? Like, and I think
she reacts realistically.
Yeah, so maybe it was instinctive, but I think ideally you maybe leave it there and conduct yourself in a way where you know it's there and you know, kind of just try to keep your head on straight, but instinctive.
Well, from a screenwriting point of view, it does let us into the surveillance room, which was pretty cool. Very Severance to see that.
Yeah, it was a big operation there.
Huge. Obviously, Erskine Samaj works for Luthen. Luthen has friends everywhere. Mon says that she's never felt so betrayed in her life, and she knows betrayal. And I thought maybe she's talking about Perrin and infidelity here. Just hinted at, but not pushed further on. But I was curious about that.
Would not shock me.
So, really this episode, if it is about anything, it's about the fate of Mon Mothma and reminding us what the stakes of her being captured by the Empire are, which is that, as Luthen says, it will all come down. I don't want to see this. Thankfully, we don't get to this. But if she was tortured by the Empire, maybe she doesn't reveal Luthen and his operation. Maybe she does. But the fact that it's up in the air, it needs to be taken care of. And she needs to go on as like a beacon of hope, too.
I mean, you see like the inherent danger of having someone who is so important in the rebellion so close to the Empire. Like, it is sketchy as hell for the entirety of this, and like she is very important, but like they said, if she ever were to be compromised or to be killed or flip or whatever, like it would be devastating. So definitely bold, but you can see they're aware of that and they're trying to, desperately get her out of there.
And the action of getting her out and Luthen's team versus Bail's team and that corrupt person within it, it was just so fucking good and delicious. And it reminded me of one of my favorite movies, The Fugitive, with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, and just the excitement of ducking and weaving through a tense situation, and the stakes couldn't be higher. And there's subterfuge and there's tricks being pulled. And I just thought this was like, as a sequence, just supremely pleasurable. Before that, we got to talk about Mon Mothma's speech. First, Bail Organa, recast as Benjamin Bratt from Jimmy Smits, tells her to tear the shit out of this place. Now, did that work for you? That was a little too colloquial for me. I was kind of taken out of the moment a bit. Small gripe.
Maybe that was him like dropping his, formalness or like how he would be functioning there to just show his authentic self.
True.
Yeah, maybe they could have written a better line, but it was okay. And then she just absolutely crushes that scene, and I think
yeah. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So one of George Lucas's best inventions in the prequels, I think, is just the design of that. I'm sure there are other designers involved too, but of that Senate chamber and those pods and how cavernous it is.
Mm-hmm.
And just the look of it's very, very striking. So to see Mon in that lonely pod going out slowly to the center, you're like, shit. And like you said, every side is waiting with bated breath to hear what she has to say. Both the Empire and the rebels. I guess the Empire doesn't want to hear it and try to no avail to shut it down. So she starts by saying that the distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. When truth leaves us, we become appetite to whatever monster screams the loudest. Of Gorman, she says that what took place yesterday was unprovoked genocide, and the monster screaming the loudest right now is Emperor Palpatine. Amazing writing, amazing performance. What do you want to say about it?
I just love the directness of it. Like, I like that she didn't dance around her feelings and just was brutally honest and called it what it is. I like the line about truth, right? And about just, knowing what reality is and what objective truth is, and then just choosing to pretend that's not the case. Because that right there is like what authoritarian rule is, in a way. People just have to be like, yeah, I guess that's what happened. And then they just go on about their day. So I just like she has huge, massive balls all the time, just dragging them around. I mean, she's a great character, and the performance is wonderful. And just knowing that she'll go on to be such like an important general, for the rebellion it's satisfying to watch, at least knowing she's safe in a way, too.
It's awesome that Genevieve O'Reilly was in Revenge of the Sith 20 years ago, had her scenes cut, and now has this moment of absolute glory. Put it on the Emmy reel. It was fantastic. And then to cut away to see all the characters listening to it, Andor listening to it, and really taking it in. Gotta wonder what's going on in his head, because talk about balls. That man walks the talk and is the super spy of the rebellion. And to hear the marriage of like the words and the politician with him as the spark plug, it's just fascinating. And so you're on tenterhooks for when he's waiting for her outside of the pod to spirit her away and to safety. And you're just like, fuck. Yes, like I love you to get out of here safely. And that's what they attempt to do next.
Yeah, and you were talking last week about wanting to see them interact, right? And lo and behold, there it is. So I hope that was good, satisfying for you.
It was, and it was more than satisfying because they have some obstacles to hurdle, and they do it so gracefully in such an exciting way. So, first of all, they're running through this building. Scenes of this season were shot at the Queen Sofia Palace of Arts in Valencia, Spain. So stunning, like this location. I want to know more about the behind the scenes of this. But my boy Erskine Samaj, Mon is mad at him for his betrayal, but he comes up pretty clutch here and shoots the scary Bond villain Russian lady in that little room. She says, "This is an ISB authorized arrest." Erskine yells, "She's a rebel spy, blast her," which distracts people enough for them to, sure enough, blast her. And then it seemed like Andor took a little trick out of my boy Erskine's playlist because Cloris, the dumb driver, Mon's driver slash spy for the Empire, leaves his vehicle to check on what the hell's happening. And he actually comes across Andor and Mon. And Andor pretends that, hey, we've got her, that he's with them. It just gives Cloris like a second of pause. Andor fucking shoots him in the head. And I audibly was like, oh my God, yes. Because that guy sucks. And that's a heroic moment for Andor. So this whole sequence, like, were you just as supremely satisfied as I was?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was fun, with both those moments, getting a little bit of like that deception and intrigue you were talking about to like make it a little bit more tense and also a little bit more satisfying in the end.
Just like fun. Fun, which is not, I don't equate Andor with fun very often, but this was just good stuff. So everyone's at the safe house. We got Will there. We have his girlfriend Drina, Clea, Mon Mothma, Cassian, and you can't forget Erskine. I mean, the episode's winding down, wrapping up. We have 3 to go. And it feels like the end of something or the start of something too. There's just like a weight to the moment, the ending of the arc. It was extremely tragic for the Gormans and for some characters. It was extremely exciting in terms of steps taken forward for the rebellion. And it's just kind of funny that it's all congregating back at that very shabby safe house.
Like, I think it's fun getting to see all these characters come together and
right.
Getting to see new, exchanges we haven't seen before and see the rebellion really start to form and like coagulate. And I think that's always very satisfying. So
Mon and Andor have a moment at the window. She says, "I'm not sure how to thank you." He says, "Make it worth it." Well said.
And you get the feeling that like Cassian is burnout, right? Like he's been through so much at this point. Like he's got to be running on fumes, and there's been so much weight on his shoulders. Like, but just the stuff he's seen in the past, recent history here has been overwhelming.
Back on Yavin, Andor just has like the coolest motherfucker sequence you can imagine. So he gets told that for the optics, this is my understanding, that another team will have pretended to have saved Mon to give a optic boost to the rebellion. And Andor, being just the suavest dude, is like, hey, don't worry about it. Do what you gotta do. Draven's like, do you want to hear her speech? He's like, nah, man, I heard it before. No glory needed. Oh, and by the way, I just saved this murder bot, and you can convert it into help for the rebellion. Like, just the trifecta of coolness from Andor there. This show's so good at supporting characters, at making side characters be main players for moments, but it is called Andor. I thought these 3 episodes were very amazing for the character, for Diego Luna, in an obvious way, but like in a pretty special way too.
The droid moment, I enjoy that because it just shows like how well he thinks on his feet and like his resourcefulness. And I feel like in a rebellion, you have to have that just take what you can, improvise. I feel like that is kind of what he is. And it's a little thing, but I thought it was fun.
And there's a little bit of like a Frankenstein's monster thing, turning the droid on. I like that. But the episode actually ends with a return to the intimate. And I think that Star Wars at its best is intergalactic and massive, but then on a character-to-character moment, like very intimate. And I'm referring to this Bix and Cassian goodbye, which I guess is not a goodbye because Cassian doesn't get to say it, but Bix gets to say it. They have one more night together, and then Bix leaves a video recording saying that she is choosing the rebellion by leaving Andor. She thinks he has a greater purpose to fulfill. If she stayed with him, he isn't fulfilling that. He isn't doing as much as he can for the rebellion. And her knowing that, she needs to go away. Was that your read of the situation?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I think she just doesn't want to stand in his way. She doesn't want to be the reason that he stops doing what he's doing, because I guess she thinks he's special and brings something to the rebellion. And I mean, that's difficult, but respect. And he was vocalizing that exact thing, that, you know, I'm good with this. You know, I just want to hang out with you. And I feel like as a good partner will always understand it's not about just you and them. It's about, like, what do you actually need? Like, they value your personhood or destiny, if you want to call it that.
But is she right? Because Andor is a romantic. He is a lover boy. Sure, more work needs to be done in the rebellion, but I found this tragic because can't this guy catch a break? It was complicated, you know, because you know what his purpose is. We've seen Rogue One, but on the other hand, like, the work and the sweat equity he's put in, to use a VC term up here in the Bay, like, give the man a rest. Let him just be a lover. But I don't know. The irony when she says, I'll find you, knowing she's not going to find him. Maybe they cross paths again in these 3 episodes to come, but I think this might be the last of Bix.
I feel like we see her again.
Okay.
You can hold me to that. We'll see.
If this is the end of Bix, was it an artful goodbye? I thought the filmmaking was really cool to, like, put her in the scene with the camera. First, have her address the camera like Giannis Metz's camera, not like the computer camera, and then see it in the video. I thought was
I thought it was well done. At first, I thought maybe she had written a letter and we were just seeing her reading the letter. I was like, okay, but then have it actually be a video call or video message, I thought was well done.
That's the episode. That is the trio. I love watching these. I love watching them in a row. I love their parceling out in trios. I thought this was amazing stuff, and I'm very excited for the final 3. And trepidatious, too, because I don't want it to end. I think this show is, like, so above and beyond so much IP adaptation, so above and beyond any show I'm watching right now. Like, I'm really having a special time with it.
Yeah, it's a bummer. And I feel like it snuck up on me quickly, going in 3-episode batches. I've only had 3 of those, obviously, so it'll be bittersweet, but I can't wait to see what happens here.
You're feeling good. You're feeling bittersweet. You're loving it. You're ready for what should be an explosive ending. Am I hearing all that right?
Like I said, I think there's a good amount up in the air. I think these 3 episodes have a big task in front of them, but I feel like they're up to the task. I mean, I think this season has been exceptional. I think we've seen 8 very good to great episodes and 1 bad episode. I don't anticipate another bad episode. I don't think anything's going to be slow moving forward. And when I say slow, I mean slow in a negative way. This show can be slow and good. But yeah, I have really high expectations, just hoping to see everything wrapped up properly.
I'm definitely looking at Luthen specifically. He was a little too quiet these past 3 episodes. I feel like there's a lot to come with him in these next 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not in Rogue One, so where is he?
Maybe he's just off in some corner of the galaxy fighting his fight. Maybe. I'm anticipating a death, but I was also anticipating his assassination of Bix, so clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But
I'm happy we're spared of that.
For now. Maybe you'll circle back.
All right, Dan. Well, hopefully we have Sean with us next week, but this was great. Just me and you. Thank you so much for watching the episodes and talking through them, and I'll see you on the other side at the end of Andor.
Yeah, it's been a ride. We'll see.
All right.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Dan.